What's up, guys? It's Mitch or Deity, and today we're going to be talking about Mystic Summons. So, ML Senya versus ML Haste versus AU Fiend. Everyone's asking me this question. It's already started. It's going to be non-stop over the next little bit. Who should you summon on? So, I'm going to go over that. One thing with this is the banner says that it is coming on 6/20, but that doesn't make sense because we've already had Senya for 2 weeks, and this is the 3rd week. So, I think the banner is supposed to start on the 12th, or sorry, on the 12th, because this is the 3rd week of Senya, right? So it should start next week. So I don't know why there's a week of nothing. Really weird. I don't get that. I think this is a typo because 6/20 to 7/4 is only 2 weeks. So I'm pretty sure it's a typo, so it would be next week is when it starts. But let's go ahead, and your options, whenever it does change, next week is what I'm going to assume, are going to be Bloodmoon Haste, Abyssal Fiend, and then Sylvan Sage Vivian and Fallen Cecilia. Those 2 characters we don't care about. I could see a buff coming for Sylvan Sage Vivian. She needs it. Fallen Cecilia is still okay if you pick her late draft, but not great. And there's just better things now. She's been out of the meta for years. But I'm going to go ahead and show some stuff real quick. So ML Senya is very strong, okay? ML Senya is... she's very strong. She's heavily picked. As you see, next week we still have her. She is picked a lot. And she has a high win rate. If you go to epic7.gg, she has a very high win rate. So if you did pull her, good. She is very strong. Now, if you're in the position where you're not sure if you should pull her or if you should wait until ML Haste and pull ML Haste, my opinion is you should pull ML Haste. ML Haste is insane. He's more of a hard carry than Senya is, but Senya's still great. So if you got Senya, be happy, but I would choose ML Haste over Senya. So I'm going to go ahead and show my builds on these characters and kind of explain them a little bit. So with Senya, she's easier to gear than ML Haste to have a good one. But if you do not have 3F artifacts, she's nowhere near as good. The other artifacts, you can use other artifacts and she will work, but not having 3F, her damage is quite a bit lower, and her S1 damage doesn't do a whole lot. So overall, I know some people are using Holy Sack on her. Some people are using Bastion or Pelusia. If you don't have 3F, those are fine options, and she still does amazing damage. So mine is only 30k HP. I was using a super high HP one, almost 40k, but low speed. And the problem was she was just dying before she got her turn. People would just draft enough damage. This way, with her having speed, she has the potential to cut and then to cut some of their damage dealers and get your S3 off, so they have to play differently depending on how fast you build her. If you build her too slow, so say a lot of people are doing really slow on counter set, and when you do really slow on counter set, they can just all in your Senya and kill her a lot of the time before she gets a turn. But if you're fast, they know they're taking that first S3. So the way Senya works is she gets her S3 at the beginning of the game, and it does insane damage. If your backline unit falls below 50% HP, she gets a barrier, cleanses everything, can't be debuffed. She gets an undispel or a thing that she can't be harmful effect at all. So she can't be even skill reset whenever that happens. So she can't take any debuffs. And your backline unit fully cleanses and gets a huge barrier too. So that barrier is bigger the more HP you have. So if you are slow on her, you're going to get a bigger barrier for your backline unit. But I really like the higher speed option because you're going to be able to get your first S3 off. You won't get this Oath of Punishment. But the thing is, when your backline unit procs, it resets your Senya. So you get the S3 again, but when it resets her, this now turns into an AoE attack. It does the same amount of damage as the single target, but it does an AoE. So your chance of getting 2 Senya S3s out is way higher the faster you go. So that is my mindset on building her like this. She doesn't have a ton of damage. Obviously, mine's lower damage, but I usually play higher aggression drafts. So with a higher aggression draft, she doesn't need as much damage because I have a bunch of other damage dealers. And her little bit of damage, she hits for about like 10k with 3F. With her damage plus 3F, it's like 10k, maybe a little bit more. But whenever she gets her full thing, it hits for like 14k because she gets 2,500 on each hit from this. So it hits for like 14k, I think. I don't know the math exactly. But she's been working great. I love her on the speed. And the other one, it worked fine though. It worked okay. So it's up to you how you want to build her. But now we're going to go into ML Haste. So that's her kit and how she works. She's good. She's very, very good. She does very good damage for a super bulky character, and it makes your opponent play differently. That is big. Controlling how you're not letting your opponent do what they want to do is massive in Epic 7. But this character, all right, Bloodmoon Haste is the hardest. He's so overtuned. He's unbelievable, but he is harder to gear a good one. So ML Haste is hard to get the HP that you want on him. I've seen a lot of people trying to do like 20k HP ML Haste, and it's not quite as good. There are multiple artifact options. So the most common build is counter set, because if ML Haste counters and then strips a buff, he heals a ton of damage, and I'll explain that real quick. So ML Haste, my build, I have Effectras on him. Effectras on him is super nice because anyone who brings in, say, I mean, anything without effectiveness, but a lot of people like to use Bryceria against him and things that'll defense break. So this way he can't be debuffed by the normal damage dealers unless they have effectiveness on him. So if anyone, say Briar Witch's Area, if anyone picks a Briar Witch's Area on full damage, which a lot of cleavers have, then you don't have to worry about it, unless they soul burn. But having that little bit of effect res has won me so many games, it's insane. Now, there's multiple ways to build him. You can go no effect res, some effectiveness, so that when he does counter, you have a higher chance of strip. The thing is, I have 0 effectiveness, so I pretty much rely on my S1. I have to soul burn it to get the strip. So we'll go over his kit real quick. His S3 does true damage and fully strips the opponent, which is good. Okay, it does a good amount of damage. But if somebody dies, it does double the damage, which is insane. So the thing is, he gets Blood Aura, which gives effectiveness and speed. So him getting speed buff is big. And then he gets he can S3 the opponent when he has this buff and mine deals like 20k damage. The thing is, I didn't realize this until he was already buffed for like a week, is when you S3, you don't have to have the buff to revive. But if you kill a character when you S3, you can revive your entire team and give them immortal. This actually doesn't matter in most games, okay? This revive, I know it sounds crazy. You're like, Bloodmoon Haste is a crazy reviver. Bloodmoon Haste does so much that there's very few times, I played him like hundreds of games, and maybe the revive has won me one of the games that he's won. Maybe. The revive almost doesn't matter because having a character that can do 20,000 damage without critting, true damage, fully strips, and then the biggest part of his kit, why everyone builds him on counter, is a skill 1. When you skill 1, if you strip a buff, you're activating Bloody Retribution, which is an additional hit, and it's true damage too. I think it's true damage, at least. Maybe not. It does a lot of damage. Maybe it's not true damage, actually. It doesn't say that it is, so it's not. But it does a lot of damage. So if he S1s, hits a character, strips a buff, he's going to hit for almost 8-9k. So 9,000 damage. That kills most damage dealers. The first hit will hit for 4k. The next hit will hit for 4 or 5k. That's crazy good damage from a character that heals. But the thing is, once he procs the extra attack, if you do strip a buff and he procs the Bloody Retribution, he heals your whole team. So that's big. That healing is already big. Now, a lot of people go Celestine. So every time he counters, he's going to heal, whether or not you strip the buff. And then if you strip the buff, you get a heal, and you get a second Celestine heal on top of his heal. So there's situations where your Bloodmoon Haste can go from 10 HP all the way back up to 25k in a span of 2 seconds. It's really, really good. Now, the other part of this S1 is a 10 soul burn ignores effect resist. So you can guaranteed strip any buff. So people who have effect res Genuas, or any effect res character that has effect res, or if you just want to make sure that you have a higher chance to win the game, take the RNG out of getting 15% on your strip, then you're golden. Now, other builds you can do, you could do speed set ML Haste. It won't be as good, but he'll get more turns, which isn't bad. If you do speed set, Celestine would still be fine. A lot of people are doing Idol's Cheer on him. So with Idol's Cheer, every time they hit him, because whenever you draft ML Haste, if any other unit dies, I haven't even talked about this part of his kit. His kit takes an hour to explain. If anybody besides him dies, he gives a massive barrier and immunity to your team. So his biggest weakness is unbuffable. And I said that before he got buffed, but unbuffable will be his biggest weakness. If he gets unbuffable, he cannot get that buff, and he does not give the barriers to your team. So if he has unbuffable, or any of your other allies have it, you're not getting any bonus. So which is why I like having some effect res on him, because it stops some things from unbuffling him. So say Albedo. Some people use Albedo and they don't have much effectiveness on him. So sometimes this reaches for Albedo if they do a full damage one, because Albedo gives unbuffable and she's pretty commonly picked right now. But overall, he's insane. I 1000% say pick him over. You have a bunch of options to do him, but he is harder to build. So Senya will be easier to build, but if you go for ML Haste now and farm up some counter gear, I mean, my gear isn't that crazy. I have this piece on just because it has a flat HP. I didn't know what other stat to go for because I didn't care about speed that much. So this piece is okay. The pieces are all pretty average. This piece is really good. This piece is actually pretty good. But this piece is just a purple piece with 42 HP. So he's a very strong character. You will not regret picking him if you go for him over Senya. But if you get Senya, I don't think you'll be sad about it. The last character, the other ones are not worth getting. Sylvan Sage, Vivian, Fallen Cecilia. But the last character, say you have ML Haste and you do have Senya already. Say you just got Senya and you're ahead of ML Haste on your account. Obviously, your Fiend's still good. There are games. She's a 4th, 5th pick character now. It's crazy that this character controlled the game not that long ago, and now we're to a position where she cannot be picked early because she has so many counters and you will lose. And people say that Epic 7 doesn't have like changes and it's everything's broken. The thing is, right now, Senya and ML Haste are running them at it. They're picked almost every game. I can't imagine games where they're not picked unless they're pre-banned. So the thing is, it was ML Landy and AU Fiend not that long ago. It was Laya and AU Fiend or ML Landy. It still kind of is, but less. So that's the thing. We're playing the same game. It's just you took the last super strong characters and you replaced them with the new ones. So I don't know. I don't understand people's complaints. The game has always been like this. There's always 3 to 5 characters that are insanely powerful. So if you get ML Haste or Senya, you're probably going to be doing pretty well in PvP in general. Mostly RTA. I don't really play Guild Wars or Arena. I don't like that content. I will do them occasionally, but Abyssal Fiend could still be used in pretty much all content. She's still really good. If you have ML Landy, AU Fiend, you can just do all story without questioning anything. So she's still a great character. I do Lifesteal and Holy Stack still. I have a second one that's an Elbrus one, but I don't have it built right now because I'm not playing her. So your options, those are pretty much your 2 options. Go Lifesteal or go Holy Stack or go Elbrus. Those are going to be the best. You can maybe come up with something different if you want to do full damage one, but Elbrus probably is the better one, but the way I play Holy Stack Fiend gives me an out in some of my games. But I think I've only picked her a few times this season, so she's nowhere near as good as she has been. The biggest thing that I think is affecting these hard carry characters like ML Lane and AU Fiend is 3rd pick ban protection. So with 3rd pick ban protection, a lot of the hard carry characters got screwed. Okay. They are, you can't pick them early draft, and by the time you want to pick them late draft, they don't really fit your draft or they don't fit to the opponent. So a lot of the hard carry characters, the 3rd pick ban protection made them worse. 3rd pick ban protection made all supports stronger and higher priority pick. So because you want to pick supports that aren't gonna be easily countered, and yeah, and then you pick your supports first, then you pick your hard carries at the end. Whatever hard carries beats their supports usually. Sometimes you get a damage dealer pick in early, but not super often. Like unless you count ML Haste as a damage dealer. But okay, those are the characters. I think I covered everything. So my opinion is, if you haven't pulled Senya, I highly suggest considering just doing ML Haste and skipping Senya. Now you could summon Senya and pull on ML Haste. Mystic Banner Pity does carry over. But the biggest thing is also, guys, you might not want to pull right away because the next ML5 that's coming could be crazy too. So if you're close to Pity, you could skip Senya. Make sure you have enough to Pity ML Haste, but wait until the last week to get Haste to see the new ML5. Because the new ML5, I don't think it's going to be the chapter boss, because Harsetti is going to be coming soon. I think Harsetti will be the next rotation potentially, but it could be Harsetti. Or it could be Mage Luna. You never know. But that's all I got. That's the video. Hopefully this helped you make a decision. That's what I would personally do. I would pick Haste over Senya. But if you like Senya more, people play the game for waifus. Senya's almost as strong. Kind of. So it's up to you. That's all I got. We do have a new Chinese character. Chinese limited character. It's like a mecha character. It's pretty cool looking. It'll be coming. He's a limited character, but he will be limited. So those of you guys that are summoning on the banner right now might want to wrap that up quick and start saving all your summons because he looks really cool. He's probably gonna be good. He's a Chinese limited character. I don't see them not making him really good. It's for their anniversary. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.